Hello everyone, it's DarkFairy07. Today we are playing Azorius Affinity, and this deck is very well positioned right now against top decks in the format. Strong decks in the format like Boros and DIMIR don't play almost any artifact or enchantment hate, which makes this deck just absolutely silly against them, winning with a high win rate. And some Boros lists do play like one or two wear tears. They have static prison in the main, but that's mostly not enough to beat like strong Affinity starts with multiple Thought Monitors or Kappa Cannoneer or Construct hands. And okay, so in this Azorius build we play Ingenious Smith. I really like this card in this build. In addition to Emery, it helps you dig for the relevant cards, pre-board, post-board, like a Portable Hole, like Haywire Mite, Soul Guide Lantern, Damping Sphere, Glass Caskets or Portable Holes. Portable Holes are great right now. They remove all the creatures from energy. Glass Casket can also remove Phlage, they can remove Frog, and these cards work very well. Also, this deck plays Metallic Rebuke in the main and have enough cards to support Force of Negation in the sideboard plus additional Metallic Rebuke. Whip Flare is additional very nice hate against Boros energy decks and other like decks that play small creatures. Whip Flare doesn't affect non-artifact creatures, which is super good in this build. Mostly your stuff will survive and you will kill all their creatures, which is great. And the great sideboard card, and others are like these artifacts that work well with Ingenious Smith and Emery, especially postboard, and plus the card draw from Thought Monitor and Earth Saga helps you find these cards. And that's it. Okay, so before we go to the gameplay, let me remind you about my dictionary profile. You can find the link down below in the video description. And today I will be adding the Boros Energy Sideboard Guide to the list of available sideboard guides to the here. So in the medium tier, I currently have Domain Zoo Sideboard Guide, Mardu Energy Sideboard Guide, all recently updated, and today Domain Zoo Cyber Guide will also receive a small fresh update. Mardu Bombardment Cyber Guard as well updated like a month and a half ago, and today new guide will be here. Boros Energy also now available will be available through until the rest of the day on the dictionary. In the top tier I have DIMIR Frog Cyber Guides also freshly updated, and this long tips and tricks article on energy and zoo, which is 5,500 words of my thoughts on these two archetypes and its most common matchups. Okay, so that's it. Now we can check out the gameplay and see how did Affinity do. Okay, so let's start match 1. Okay, in match 1 I was playing a second, kept a decent hand, nothing crazy, but I have Earth Saga, I have Portable Hole, I have Rebuke, so I decide it's a keepable hand. Okay, so I start with Portable Hole. Opponent has Ragavan, dashes it and just passes the turn. So I go for Springleaf Drum, play Thermos Crypt and Emery. My opponent tries to kill Emery, but I have one spare mana and 2 artifacts to play Metallic Rebuke, protect my Emery. Opponent doesn't have a second removal, so they just go for a dash Ragavan, and now I can make a construct token. And yeah, I did a huge mistake here. I'm not sure why. I thought I could play like Thought Monitor from the yard, so I give Thought Monitor a flashback, but I miscounted, so I was not able to actually cast the Thought Monitor. Okay, but I was able to cast the Thought Monitor now, and I got the last poor boots on my second construct. Opponent now has the One Ring, but I also have Emery, which can repeatedly return Thought Monitors or Mishra Bubbles or Kappa Cannoneers. Okay, my opponent kills one of the constructs with Static Prison and plays Ragavan. This is good news for me. Here I can still play the Kappa Cannoneer. So I go for Portable Hole first, exile my opponent's Ragavan, then go for the Springleaf Drum, target Kappa, and now I play Kappa from the yard. And I have one spare mana here, which is enough to equip. I grow my Kappa and I equip Lava Spore Boots, give it haste, and attack with everything. Now my opponent has to kill Construct to survive, and we know that they don't have an instant card that can kill 11/11 creature. So that is game 1. For Affinity, very easy game though, even though my opponent had the one ring, they just couldn't deal with everything I had on the board. Okay, so let's see game 2, board out all the Emeries against Boros and one Smith and all the Rebukes plus 2 Ornithopters. Bring in Whip Flares, of course. This is my best card from the sideboard. And the second Glass Casket, I also like that one. Okay, so as you can see here at the moment, I currently don't have mana to cast Whip Flare, so that is the reason I went for Exile Guide of Souls, prevent my opponent from gaining a lot of energy. Okay, so I go for a construct token here to block the Ocelot. I don't care about Ocelot making additional tokens because I plan to use the Whip Flare. As you can see here now, I get the red mana, use the Whip Flare, kill their board, and my construct survives. Opponent plays a Sun Cleanser, I'm not sure why they have that, and I also have a Pitting Needle and a Haywire Mite from the sideboard against their One Ring, and both of these cards work great against it. Okay, so I go for Pitting Needle named One Ring, I have Urza Saga, and my opponent plays the Blood Moon, but I have the Springleaf Drum and I have the Haywire Mite to immediately exile the Blood Moon if needed, but currently I don't want to exile it because my opponent doesn't actually have white mana and I have like a double Springleaf Drum, so I'm just kind of patiently waiting to draw another creature so I can start attacking with it and save the Haywire mana, but it doesn't come, so I decide to just sack this Haywire Mite and get rid of the Blood Moon. Okay, so now I top deck a Soul Guide Lantern. I can draw a card if I want. I have a Pitting Needle named the One Ring. So looks like a decent situation for me here. Opponent goes for Phlage, but I have a Soul Guide Lantern on the field, so I don't care that much about Phlage at this moment. I have to crack the Soul Guide Lantern because my opponent will be able to play Phlage otherwise. So I crack it on their upkeep. I have Portable Hole, I have Whip Flare in my hand, so pretty decent hand. I can kill some creatures waiting for some good draws. I find the red mana, so I go for the Whip Flare, killing a Johnny and token, still keeping Portable Hole in hand. Opponent here finds a second Phlage, but they don't have enough cards in the graveyard to play it. Unfortunately, a bit flooded at the moment, so drawing another Spiral of Industry, but here it is, the top deck I was waiting for. I find Kappa Cannoneer from top, equip Lava Spore Boots immediately on it, and I can start attacking for 6 mana this turn, 6 damage this turn. And my opponent is missing cards to be able to play their Phlage, but they go for a second Phlage target face, and now they find the One Ring. They have protection, but they can use it since I have a Pitting Needle on it. Okay, so I go for the second Kappa and just pass the turn. And yeah, so opponent 1 card in hand. I have Portable Hole, I can grow my Kappas. But I here find cranial plating, and cranial plating is enough in this situation to end the game immediately. My Kappa is 17 power now, so that's over. A quick game against Boros Energy, so let's check out match 2. Very easy games against Boros, has a wonderful sideboard against them. Easy to remove Phlage from the yard, a lot of graveyard hate, and also rings, Haywire Mites for the One Ring, Whip Flares for the creatures, it just feels amazing against them. Okay, so second match playing against another very popular deck at the moment. It is DIMIR Froculus. Okay, so I go for turn 2 Emery, playing a couple of Memnites here. And I have stuff in the yard I can play, and potentially just go for immediately Kappa Cannoneer on turn 3 here. So I decide to do that even though my opponent has 2 mana up, they can play counterspell, but I have Emery, I can target Kappa next turn, try to play it from the yard, so I'm okay with that. Okay, so opponent goes for Orcish Bowmaster, kills my Memnite, so I can't play the Kappa, but I didn't really care that much about that. I just wanted to make a construct this turn, and since my Urza Saga is now on 2 counters, so I just focus on making a construct this turn. My opponent can't use mana well this way unless they have Harbinger or something like that. So I just decide to use my mana to make these constructs, and use the Emery to cast stuff from the yard. I decide to go for the Tot Monitor. If my opponent counters it, I can then use the Emery. But yeah, this was actually a mistake. I misclicked here. I wanted to click on the Kappa Cannoneer, but instead I clicked on Tot Monitor. I didn't really want to cast it, but it didn't really matter anyway. I have a second Emery in hand I can play, so it was just irrelevant. My opponent is having a lot trouble here dealing with large constructs and all these creatures on the field. Plus I have a Metallic Rebuke now, Emery and Kappa in hand, so all big problems for the opponent. Okay, so I cast the Springleaf Drum, grow my constructs and attack with everything. Holding Rebuke here, I decide to go for the Rebuke. My opponent counters. Rebuke with Force of Negation, blocks with Orc Army token, and yeah, passes the turn. Now they go for digging with Preordain, digging with Consider, playing a big Murktide, but my construct is bigger at the moment. Okay, so I go for Kappa Cannoneer as well, play the Memnite, make Kappa unblockable, also try to use the Emery, but opponent has Cling to Dust, but still I'm attacking with construct here, making them block, and they can't really raise because I have just so much. They go try to attack with Murktide, but yeah, it's impossible for them to raise this. Opponent goes for a second Frog, and I dig with Emery, try to find something usable. I find Portable Hole here, exiling the Frog, and yeah, that's enough. My opponent, I can exile the Frog, and Cannoneer is unblockable now. And yeah, my opponent decides to concede. They really can't raise this, so that was the game 1. Let's check out game 2 and the sideboarding plan against DIMIR Frogtide. Okay, so as you can see, 2 Tot Monitors go out. They play 4 Bowmasters, so Tot Monitors can sometimes be pretty bad against them. Okay, so Mishra Bubbles as similarly go out. I put in some Graveyard Hate in case they play Unearthed plus Oculus, of course, and Glass Caskets to deal with the Bowmasters and the Frog, of course. And the third Rebuke, pretty nice in this matchup as well. So I have Rebuke there, Bowmaster, play the Shadow Spear. And the next turn I'm planning on going for the Kappa. Kappa plus Shadow Spear seems pretty good too. So I go for this, crack the bubble, and yeah, next turn I can create a construct token, grow Kappa, make it unblockable. If opponent wants to deal damage with Frog, they have to exile cards from their yard. Okay, opponent plays Harbinger. Opponent plays Harbinger, which kills my Saga. I have another one in hand, so that is unfortunate. But I have Kappa Cannoneer with lifelink and trample and ward 4. That is very, very hard to deal with. I was able to jump a frog for 1 turn here, grow my Kappa even more, and I try to draw here to find another artifact to kill them immediately here, but my opponent steals the Shadow Spear, and tries to gain some life. And yeah, Kappa, I draw another artifact to make my Kappa unblockable next turn, 4 lethal, so that is easy win there. And yeah, that was the match against DIMIR Frogtide. Let's now check out the match 3 and the match 4, then we'll go through the wins first and then check out the defeat in the end as always. Okay, so I have a decent hand here, nothing special, but potentially this can be turn 2 Kappa if I draw another 0 mana artifact. I didn't draw a 0 mana artifact, but I do draw Emery. Emery is also pretty cool here. I decide to crack the Mishra Bubble, hoping to draw. Since I saw my opponent playing Storm, I decided to play all my creatures because they don't really play removal. Okay, so opponent goes for Wren Resolve this turn, passes the turn. Now I have Mishra Bubble, and I play another one from the yard. And then I go for a Kappa Cannoneer, and don't really have, this is like a 2-turn clock, and even with plating I don't have a kill next turn, but I do have Portable Hole. If they don't do much this turn, they're obviously trying to dig for something to lower the cost of their spells. But at this point I also draw Metallic Rebuke, which is a card I was looking for in this situation. Okay, so I equip the cranial plating, and yeah, I actually failed here. This was a fail. If I just play the Portable Hole from my hand, I will have lethal immediately. So that was definitely a fail here, but I didn't count the damage. I didn't think I could have lethal this turn. But I was holding the Metallic Rebuke, so it was probably not a big deal. I countered their ritual, and that was a game over. Okay, so let's check out game 2. And the sideboarding plan, of course, against Storm. I have a double Force of Negation and 3rd Rebuke on my sideboard for this matchup. Plus the Graveyard Hate obviously is great against them, and especially Damping Sphere, like the best card you can have against the Storm, of course. So Glass Caskets go out, 1 Thought Monitor, 1 Cannoneer, double Emery, and yeah, just like 1 Topter, 1 Memnite, and that's it. Okay, so opponent plays Ral, and I have Force of Negation, but sometimes it's possible they can combo even over that, but at the moment opponent doesn't seem to have much, so I was able to play Emery here, but Emery could be a bit late in a situation like this. Next turn I can return Damping Sphere. Okay, so opponent goes double Ritual here, triple Ritual, and then they go for a Wish, and I have my they flip their Ral as with 6 counters, and I counter their Wish. So at this point I thought I'm okay with this, but opponent did kill my Emery, which removed my possibility to bring back Damping Spheres or whatever. Then they also killed the Memnite to slow me down, give them more time to top deck more draw spells or whatever. And yeah, my next spells were kind of irrelevant, bubble into bubble. I need creatures, need damping spheres, need emeries, whatever. Okay, so I go for a double bubble here. Check the top card on their hand and still digging with bubbles, trying to find top deck. Here it is, cranial plating, that is good, but I also need a creature. Opponent in meantime finds the great card from the top of their library, which is Past in Flames. Okay, so here I can now also have Rebuke and have a plating equipped with Memnite. But my opponent has a lot of mana available to them, so Metallic Rebuke might not be enough. Opponent starts off with Mana Morphose. And yeah. They have one Ruby Medallion. But they have a lot of mana here. Opponent thinks for some time, but then they go... yeah. I think something's wrong. I think something's wrong with the replay. I have Tormod's Crypt here. I have a Metallic Rebuke, but yeah, something's definitely wrong with replay. But I had the Crypt, I had a Rebuke, but my opponent was able to win through it. Something's unfortunately wrong with replay in this one. It's not showing the correct what exactly happened in this situation. Okay, so I started off with Memnite plus Mishra's Bubble. Kind of obvious, I have like a Rebuke at this point, but yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I see a Ruby Medallion on top. And I decide to just hold the Rebuke again, not play the plating this turn. My opponent can actually win on turn 2, it's not super often, but it can happen, so I decide not to play anything, just hold the mana, play the bridge, and again, not attack, just holding the Rebuke. Okay, so my opponent surveils and now tries to resolve the friend's resolve. I decide I don't have much and it's probably best for me to let that resolve and keep Metallic Rebuke until I find a better piece of hate. Okay, again, now I have plating equipped, but still have to hold untapped so I can hold the Rebuke for the next turn. Opponent goes for a Ruby Medallion. I decided for a risky play here, and risky play here was trying to deal with Ruby Medallion with a portable hole, which means letting Ruby Medallion resolve. That was definitely risky, and but my opponent was able to kind of go off a bit here, but unfortunately not infinitely. Just 11 spells, they play grab shot, put me down on 10, kill my creature. Still not a great position for me, but it's a position from which I can still win. So I can play portable hole, take their roll, make a construct token, and it seems a decent position here. So I go for a construct token, play portable hole, exile roll, pass the turn. Next turn I'm also getting Graveyard Hate. My opponent has another roll. They have Ruby Medallion, but now they're missing. More cards. More cards to storm off, and I also find a Kappa Cannoneer here, making a good clock from my side. I also have a Soul Guide Lantern, and my opponent is dead next turn. I have so much damage. And I also have cranial plating just in case. And doubt my opponent can do anything through Soul Guide Lantern on this turn. So it seems like a game over. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, here it is. I equip the plating and have definite lethal. this turn. So that is the game and the match against Affinity. Okay, so let's check out match 4. Okay, Affinity seemed like so well positioned right now. I decided this time to keep a risky one lander. Only Urza Saga, but it potentially can be pretty strong hand if I draw right card. Yeah, I didn't draw it, so I decided to play Memnite, play Glass Casket just for the Affinity. I'm not sure what my opponent played here, so... But yeah, I got the land. It was a bit late, but still this allowed me to play a Tot Monitor on turn 3, and I got more lands, which is exactly what I needed in this situation. Oh, but yeah, now I understand what my opponent is playing, and they go turn 3 Lotus Field. But yeah, this is now too late. My opponent has the One Ring Protection Lotus Field on the field. I need good cards. I need good cards in this moment to prevent them from going off. I go for a Tot Monitor, a second Tot Monitor, and third Tot Monitor, trying to draw that Metallic Rebuke or whatever from the top. Here I also play Kappa Cannoneer, try to make a good clock, try to kill them next turn if possible. Yeah, but my opponent has Lotus Field already on the field, plus the One Ring, and I don't have any counter, and yeah, they go Hidden Steerings into another hidden Steerings, and then just go crazy, absolutely, a bunch of mana, they have everything, so I just concede in this game 1, but let's check out game 2. I have a lot of good stuff in the sideboard to against them. I have Pitting Needle, which is great against One Ring, Haywire Mite, great against One Ring, great against Breach. I have Graveyard Hate, which is great against Breach, stops their combo as well. And I also have Force of Negation and Metallic Rebuke. All these cards are just super good against them. As you can see here, I took a blue card because I have Force of Negation in my hand, and Ingenious Smith is a strong piece which can really grow early and into large threat, and it also finds you the sideboard pieces or whatever else you need. So I start attacking with Smith holding Force of Negation in hand. I have a Pitting Needle Soul Guide already on the field, so it feels truly amazing. I decide to risk it a bit here. I didn't hold blue Force of Negation this turn, but I have Needle plus Soul Guide Lantern on the field, so I felt safe doing this. Maybe it wasn't a good decision. If they find the right cards, definitely it seems a bit risky. Yeah, my opponent goes for a Dream Rift here, then goes for the One Ring, gets the protection, can't actually use the One Ring when I have Needle on it. But yeah, okay, so now I play Ornithopter, grow my Smith, equip the plating, and pass the turn holding Force of Negation, and next turn I have Lethal. And yeah, so seemed like a great position to win this game too. My opponent untaps with the One Ring. They go Sink into Stupor, and I try to force them, but they have Veil of Summer still. They don't have enough to go off, and that's it. Okay, so let's check out game 3. Okay, game 3. Yeah, I decide to keep this one. It seems pretty good. I have Damping Sphere. Damping Sphere is a strong card against them. I crack the bubble to draw into more stuff I can play on my next turn. Something like Graveyard Hate, Pitting Needles. And yeah, but yeah, Damping Sphere is probably here the best turn to play I can have. Okay, so already one artifact land on the field. With Damping Sphere and Memnite, I'm already like close to actually casting the Tot Monitor. Okay, so I decide to cast Memnite first. My opponent actually has consigned to counter the damping sphere, which was unfortunate. So I have to play Spire Industry and hold mana for Haywire Mite here. This way, if they have the Breach stuff, I can exile their Breach in response to them playing something from the yard with it. Okay, so I go for a Memnite, play the Urza Saga, and now it's looking decent for me. I can play the Thought Monitor and still have 1 mana for the Haywire Mite, so I can continue attacking, and now I have more damage on the field. It's already 5 damage, so it's a pretty decent clock. Also, I can make a construct next turn with Urza Saga, so it's looking good for me. And the Haywire Mite can kill both the One Ring and Underworld Breach. Next turn I'm also getting something with Urza Saga, so my opponent has to do the combo on their next turn if they want to try to win. Okay, so opponent goes for Vizier on my turn, and on their turn they try to go, sorry, they didn't go for a combo yet. I make another construct here, but opponent lets me create a construct but doesn't let me get the Urza Saga abilities. This way they were able to survive for a turn, and without me getting the Graveyard Hate piece, they also bounced my construct. So they were able to survive a turn, and now they go for a combo. They have all the pieces, so they go for the Underworld Breach, but in response to them playing the Preordain, I exile their Breach with Haywire Mite. So in response, opponent plays the Dream Grip to get mana. They play it again, get more mana, and then play Preordain, hoping to get probably, I don't know, the One Ring or whatever. Or another Breach maybe, but that didn't happen. So I was able to again try to go for a kill, attacking for lethal, but again opponent has the bounce spell for my construct, so they survive another turn, and I have Soul Guide Lantern here to prevent their combo, so they finally run out of ways to survive. So that was the game. And the match against Twiddle. Okay, so let me now check the last game of the league, the only loss in this league, and the only loss came actually playing against other Affinity decks. So what else could win against Affinity in a format where nobody has any artifact hate except another Affinity deck, of course. Okay, so I keep a slightly risky one-lander here, which definitely proved to be a problem. Not having lands here definitely was a problem. I was not able to play out my spells because my opponent takes both of my Springleaf Drums with portable holes. Okay, so I failed in this. I failed in this game. I made some fail. I forgot what it was. I have Metallic Rebuke here. I have Glass Casket. Ah, yeah, this was the fail. I misclicked here. I wanted to click a Springleaf Drum, but accidentally click on Tormod Script instead of Springleaf Drum, and this completely messed up my game plan so much that I just decided to concede the game at this point. Opponent has constructs, and I really needed that Springleaf Drum. Without the Springleaf Drum, my situation seems hopeless, so I concede because of the misclick. It was just super bad. I was not able to get back from that misclick. So yeah, Let's check out game 2, and let's check out the sideboarding plan. My opponent plays a similar build, I think. Okay, so I boarded out one Emery for a Rebuke, double Memnite to go out, and nothing special except that. I also don't have much, except for Haywire Mites, I don't have any hate against them. Similarly, like the last game, again I start with a drum and a single land. My opponent again takes my Springleaf Drum with portable hole, which was a big problem here. Now I did find a Springleaf Drum this time and take their Urza Saga, which was great. Play my Cranial Plating, pass the turn. Again, I'm hoping to get that land. My opponent, I think, played a similar list, but they had Tamiyo instead of Emery. And here I was able to play the Emery and equip Cranial Plating. My opponent goes in for 3 damage, makes a clue token with Tamiyo, and plays Dot Monitor, drawing more cards, flipping their Tamiyo. This is now kind of a problem. Yeah, the big problem again for me here was not drawing lands. So I had these 2 drums, but not having lands here is a big problem. My opponent also plays a Kappa Cannoneer, and yeah, not having lands here just really was a big deal. And like in this situation, I have to tap both of my creatures to play the plating, so then I can't really, yeah, another land here would be great. I would be able to also like maybe play this Kappa Cannoneer, which would be amazing and help. And now my opponent takes another Springleaf Drum, which is like killing my land. So I'd lose game 1 to misclick and I lose game 2 to screw. So that was it. That was the entire league. Only loss against another Affinity deck, which just shows that maybe people recognized that Affinity is well positioned right now, gets a lot of free wins. And last week on my Friday FNM, also guy won the tournament with Affinity. So I think Affinity is very good against Boros, against Dimir. They don't have almost any artifact hate in the main or in the side, and amazing sideboard cards in this deck like a Glass Casket, portable holes, whip flares really help win that matchup very easy. And Pitting Needles, Haywire Mites, Soul Guides and Damping Spheres are amazing against combo decks, and this deck can additionally fit Force of Negations and Metallic Rebukes to fight that combo decks and One Rings and whatever. So that's it. Pretty happy with this build. It feels amazing. I'm a big fan of Ingenious Smith in these builds. Would probably like to add a third Smith going forward, but that's all. Really love the list as it is, and yeah. Okay, so again, thank you for watching. Friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe, comment down in the video. Tell me have you tried Affinity yet? I really think it's super powerful at the moment in the meta game, where obviously Affinity is weak when there is just a Force of Figures all around, but Force of Figure is not really a card that's being played around a lot. And the matchups where it was good, it just kind of disappeared, so it really doesn't see much play. And the most popular decks in the format are like frog decks, don't even have good solutions for artifacts except like stuff like Hurricane's Recall, something like that. So I think it's a pretty good time to play Affinity and get a lot of free wins with it. Okay, again, thank you for watching and goodbye.